What is up? Week 4 on the 6th man. Shout out to Ed Lasku. Shout out to the 6th man. Shout out to Lancashire Laimbeer. Who am I, guys? I'm Cole Anthony, the most entertaining player in the NBA. He's balling out right now.
Facts.
You know what we do on the 6th man? We ask the questions and we forum them on the group. My question, it goes out to the hottest team in the NBA right now, the Golden State Warriors. They're currently 10-1. The question I want to ask Lancashire Laimbeer and House Lasku is, who is the biggest X factor for the Warriors this season as they continue on this upward trend? We're going to go with Lancashire Laimbeer first. Your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously you look at Steph and he's still putting up serious numbers, but I'm just going to shout out Jordan Poole because he's obviously, if you look at his stats from last season, he only actually started 7 games and he started every single one of the Warriors games so far this season. And he's putting up similar numbers to what he was doing last season. He's upped his points per game. He's throwing his free throw is at 95%. He's actually only missed 1 free throw, and that was in the first game, his very first one that he took, and he's hit everyone since. His field goal percentage is good. He's throwing more 3-pointers up, and his percentage is pretty similar. He's contributing there. And if you actually look at his impacts on the games, his plus minus is very strong. Like even in like the win against like the Pelicans, his plus minus was plus 31. And then if you actually look at the games which he hasn't performed in, where he's only got 9 points against the Clippers and 9 points against the Grizzlies, and he had 7 turnovers and 6 turnovers respectively in both those games. So games which he didn't perform in. They were the games that the Warriors only won narrowly against the Clippers and actually lost against the Grizzlies. So there's a bit of, I don't know if it's cause and if it's cause and correlation or not, but he's definitely been performing when the Warriors have been hot. And I really want to shout him out, especially where they still waiting on Clay to come back, basically, aren't they? And he's just filling in at the moment. So he's doing a great job for them.
Yeah, that's great insight. House Lasky, thoughts on that, and also your X Factor player, please.
Just want to follow up, a couple points. Jordan Poole was that was the obvious answer. I just had some notes down just in case no one did mention Jordan Poole. As you were saying, Matt, 18 points a game, which is second in the team. And he's also shooting the second most amount of threes in the team. However, his percentage isn't as high as the others. So it's around about just low 30% marks. Plus minus, again, he's 6th best on the team. Now, I was looking at an interview one of the Warriors beat reporters had with Iggy, and Iggy was talking about Jordan Poole, and he was saying that where he can be the differentiators when he drives to the rim or when he drives to the bucket. As you're saying, his free throw percentage is really, really high, but he only attempts 2 free throws a game, which is 5th on the team, and that needs to be upped up a little. He plays the second most amount of minutes after Steph, and he needs to, that could be something that could really be an X factor, as you were saying, that it's because the Warriors don't have too many drive and kick players. Draymond doesn't drive and kick as much as he used to before. He's much more of a playmaker now. Curry likes to play across. I mean, he obviously drives to the bucket, but not in the aggressive style that you would get from usually a wing. And Clay tends to be a spot shooter. Again, he can take it off the floor as well, take it off the bounce. But that could be where he could be an X factor if he does continue driving to the rim. I think against Houston, the last game, he had like 7 attempts in the game, which is the most he had by far, and they absolutely blew out the Rockets. That's something that would be interesting for him, which then leads me to think, who are the unique players on the Warriors who can have a massive impact? And I mean, we've spoken a little bit previously about Gary Payton Jr. and the defense he brings, how the defense is something. I'm just thinking from an offense point of view, I'm not sure what's happened with James Wiseman. I need to look into him a bit more, because he is such a unique player in that roster and what he can do and what potentially his overall skill set. To answer the question, who's the biggest X factor? I'm just going to say the fun answer. It's got Clay. Is Clay going to be the biggest X factor? That would be super fun if it is Clay. He's the second best shooter in the league, let's say, for example, behind Steph Curry. I mean, debatable, whatever. Again, provides them with more spacing and the defense as well, which, again, although I said I want to look at offense, the whole package of what Clay could provide, having another elite scorer on the team will be massive, especially when Curry's shot isn't falling.
Do you guys know Gary Payton the second's nickname? It's very good.
No. Oh, hold on. But
Really
is it a
good.
play on the glove? Is it a play on the glove? Is it like a miniature glove?
You ready?
Go on.
The Mitten.
Mitten.
Very good, very good. Whoever came up with that. I'm going to close out this section and say my X factor is actually Draymond Green. I think that he does a lot for this Warriors team. Well, in 3 categories, scoring being the lesser one he's known for. And then obviously you've got the defensive side of the ball. He's one of, if not one of the best defenders in the game. Last season, you saw him playing a leadership role with James Wiseman and a lot of the players that the squad was with the squad last year. And I think that's going to be really important when it comes down to those playoff moments, because the Warriors haven't been deep into the playoffs for a couple of years. So yes, they know what it feels like, but a lot of these players who have implemented themselves into the team are not essentially there yet. So I think that he's going to be really crucial from a mental standpoint. And also, the best version of Draymond that we saw was actually him being aggressive and him being able to score. We saw last season when they played that playing game, they trapped Curry at the top and they laid it off to Draymond and he sort of just threw it up. But he should be able to score inside. So if he's able to do that, I think that the Warriors, I mean, the sky's the limit. I know they've had a weak schedule, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
What's a better nickname, the Mitten or Off Night?
Off Night.
You know who Off Night is? We've spoken about this before.
You got to help me on that.
Davion Mitchell, that's his nickname, Off Night, because when defenders come, when an offensive play comes up against him, they have an off night.
I like the Mitten. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, the Mitten's good. The Mitten's very good.
Right. No love for Sacramento again.